Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, marks and smarks alike, we proudly welcome you to the internet's only wrestling podcast. That's right, we are the only one. We want to welcome you to Pin the Champ! Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pin the Champ. Today we have Song.
What's up?
And we have Kyle.
Hooty hoo!
All right, and I'm Jeremiah, of course. Today, what we're going to do on this episode is we're going to talk about the changes being caused by Peacock. So I'm going to go ahead and begin with that. So first and foremost, guys, obviously what we've been doing recently, right, has been starting at Raw episode number 1 back in 1993. And we've been just watching those episodes and having a blast talking about them and everything. But of course, as every wrestling fan knows right now, WWE Network is no more, at least here in the United States. And it's been replaced by Peacock. And they let us know, of course, ahead of time that it would be a process getting all the content transferred over from WWE Network to Peacock. And as of today's recording, I believe the last time that I looked, Raw was only like at 1997. So that would be a huge leap forward.
Time jump, yeah.
Big time jump for us. And it would just, we didn't really want to do that. So having said that, there's another big change to the episode for right now. I wouldn't even say it's like necessarily, well, it is a big change, but it's definitely not a negative because our buddy Sawyer is still,
he's still alive.
He's still alive. He's a part of the Pin the Champ family, but he is actually going to be stepping away for a while to work on other projects. So, like I said, he's still going to be.
Jeremiah doesn't want to tell you. Sawyer lost a loser leaves town match to me, and so he can no longer wrestle in Pin the Champ territory. I'm sure he'll be back in some capacity,
right. for public execution or something.
And who knows, that masked man may look a lot like Sawyer if he shows up.
Because of all these changes, essentially, we thought it would be a good time to kind of rethink what Pin the Champ does and what we're going to be doing moving forward. So for the foreseeable future, we're kind of going to be doing whatever we want until we get those Raw episodes back, or until we figure out, either by A, whatever's fun to us, or B, whatever our fans request. We really want to do fan service if we have people reach out, so hit us up if you want. But we'll be watching some pay-per-views together, so keep watching. There'll be some fun things to come, and we'll probably sink right into whatever our new thing is as soon as we figure it out. But for right now, it's going to be hand-picking some awesome WWE pay-per-views and watching them with you. But so today we're going to do WrestleMania 37, actually, which is the most recent WrestleMania. Reason we decided to do that one, of course, is because we think it's a real special one. It's recent, it's a hot topic, and it's a WrestleMania that for the first time in a year had fans. So we think it's very important and very historic for that reason. If you have been under a rock somewhere and you haven't already seen WrestleMania 37, if you want, go watch it first, or you might get
don't.
Yeah, you might get more out of the episode if you don't. Who knows? Either which way, yeah, we won't feel bad. Just make sure you do come back after you watch and check us out. Before we do get over to our actual review of the show, we did want, we have been doing every episode rather, a little toast before the episode, right? So Today we thought it would be only appropriate to toast to Sawyer. So we're going to raise a glass to Sawyer.
Sawyer, the best to you in your future endeavors.
You're fire.
Come on.
That was just me.
All right, Sawyer, we can't wait to have you back on again, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Love you, brother.
So moving forward to the Showcase of the Immortals this year, right? First question I wanted to ask you starting off is, when you guys watched this, did you guys have your own predictions at all? Do you have a habit of doing that before the matches, or you just go into it with, like, I know you have your favorites, you know?
I normally don't do prediction for Mania. Mania is one of the pay-per-view I watch just for pure enjoyment. I'd say predictions for pay-per-views like Royal Rumbles and things like that. But when it's Mania time, I'm really just there to enjoy the show. I enjoy the pageantry, the
huff and glue, and watching Mania.
It's all
like we did in the 80s.
Mania is kind of like their end of the year celebration for WWE. It's their biggest show, and I just want to enjoy that, take that all in, and not
like the season finale of our soap opera.
Exactly. So I don't do prediction, and because we all know in Mania the outcome is not important because the story's been written already. We just have to see it to its conclusion.
Mania is important. I don't like that comment. Song.
I didn't say Mania was important. I said the result is not important in Mania.
Well, I don't know, man. How do you feel about that statement, Kyle?
I would say that Mania used to be a place where scores got settled. They are. It is now a place where storylines continue through,
or plateau at.
Exactly, they plateau at, and they make a new one. So I would to a certain extent agree with Song on that one, just because, like, it's not the, I don't know, it's not the, I feel like the road to WrestleMania over the last few years has been increasingly diminished for me. It's still, it's still the spectacle of spectacles, the Showcase of the Immortals. It's still, a great, the best wrestling show of the year. Well, it's supposed to be, I guess. That's the thing. It's supposed to be the best wrestling show of the year. So I don't know if it's kind of like how Christmas isn't as fun when you're older.
Yeah.
Because the magic just doesn't seem as real. But for me, Manias aren't, I don't know. The last few Manias haven't been super duper exciting for me. I've enjoyed the Rumbles a lot more.
So I can agree with a lot of those statements, Kyle, but that's not really the question. The question was, are the results of Mania important? And to me, they are, because especially to the performer, right? Like, there are so many fair weather fans that watch like Mania as their, like, that's the show that they have. And for those wrestlers, it is the, like, pinnacle of what they do. So I think the results and how it plays out, it's not always the most important thing at all. So I definitely can understand that. But I find it super important for, for the storyline to see how it culminates at WrestleMania.
Sure.
Well, it used to be the storyline would end at WrestleMania and they start a new one for the next season. But now, the reason why I said the match results don't feel that important anymore, face or heel, if whoever wins, there is, you don't get, like, the win is the win, and then whoever wins, they get their moment in the spotlight. It used to be when Jericho lost to Shawn Michaels, he would low blow him after the match. You don't have that anymore, so it almost feel like the results aren't important to the competitors either. And that's what I was getting at when I said the results isn't that important.
Yeah, gotcha. I would agree. I would agree that, of course, Mania as an event is important in their careers. The matches need to happen because they are, without wrestling matches, it's not a wrestling event.
Right.
But in terms of, like, the results, it's kind of like what they say in Whose Line Is It Anyway? Where the points are made up and the results don't matter.
Gotcha.
You know, the spectacle, the match happening is what matters. Maybe a moment.
So yeah, I mean, you have matches like for Bianca Belair, for instance, we'll talk about later. She wins the title tonight. That is a result that wins. That means something. I'm sorry, because you have that wrestler having that moment at WrestleMania where they win the title for the first time. That result matters, because when you cement your legacy with a WrestleMania win, it definitely matters. That's all that I'm saying. So I can understand where
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I would agree with that too, though. I would absolutely agree with that, because outside of Bianca Belair, though, everybody up there was former champions or just lost the belt to who they were fighting.
That's true.
Or were, you know,
it's important to a varying degree. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's like, who cares? Who cares about the results of 3 tag team
turmoil
team matches that who aren't real tag teams, like, except for one of them. You know, it's like so.
And then one of them gets fired later.
Belair, whoa, man, and that was. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about
that.
It.
Is I am not comfortable with how closely after Mania they released. They were just. People. It's. I mean, like, I guess one last payday, maybe, and that's what they were thinking.
Yeah, it's a whole different episode, but for sure,
AEW's about to get
some good talent. Some Moa Joe. Anyway, all right. I digress. So,
Joe, you're fat.
WrestleMania kicks off with the roster on the stage and a rare appearance by Vince McMahon, welcoming the fans back to Mania.
How much makeup do you think he had on? It looked like he was like they made him out of plastic. It looked like he was like, I don't know, like they electrocuted the old man to bring him back. It was a little sad, kind of like Casey Kasem on New Year's Eve.
Well, I've heard that he's like uncomfortable being in front of the camera these days. That he's like aware, and he's not. That's why you don't see him in a lot of like Vince McMahon.
You know what? That makes sense. And thank you, Vince. I appreciate that.
We don't want to see Skeletor Vince. No, I'm just kidding. No. That's terrible. I love you, Vince. But anyway, for songs laughing, you know, the moment, right? Song. I mean, what do you guys think of that as a moment?
I thought it was really cool to see actual live crowds for the first time in a long time. I mean, we've been watching the Thunderdome, and then, you know, they had performance people working as crowd for a while, but to see an actual like fans in the stand, that was pretty cool. But then you come to find out there's somebody there that went to WrestleMania knowingly had COVID.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, there was somebody that knowingly knew he had COVID but went to the show anyway.
Wow.
So.
Right.
I never even heard that.
I feel like that should be a criminal attempted murder.
Yeah,
like, I mean, it's definitely messed up.
It's messed up. So that took away from that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, as a moment though, I mean, you know, I mean, I thought it was a good moment seeing Vince McMahon come front and center to talk about you know, what I thought was cool about it is it looked genuine, like the smiles on the faces of the wrestlers. They looked like they were really happy about.
Except for Roman, he was still in character.
That's true.
That's because Roman doesn't break character.
Roman can't. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but yeah, you saw like Sasha Banks, she was grinning ear to ear. All the performers were grinning ear to ear. Just I guess they're just excited to be in front of people again.
Yeah. You know,
I wonder if they'll see any backlash for that, because remember, Vince notoriously doesn't like smiling.
Oh, Titus won't touch him. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
nobody touches Vince. There's probably a dictate: don't touch Vince if he's in front of the crowd. But yeah,
I'm sure it had nothing to do with the fact that Titus is a black man.
Hopefully not, man. That'd be messed up. We get BB Rexa, who comes out and she sings "America the Beautiful." I don't know who she is. She's double.
I thought it was Mandy Rose.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Like I had the sound turned off for a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, why is Mandy Rose coming out to sing?" And I was like,
I didn't even know she did.
And then I was like, "Who is Bebe Rexla?"
I have no idea. I think it sounded kind of country, but she looked like she was in a Poison video.
Booby Rexla, as song is letting us know.
Yeah, I like the guitar.
If my first name was BB, you better damn believe I would change my last name to Gun with 2 N's.
Oh yeah,
I'd be BB Gun.
And then you could wrestle with Bart Gunn.
Yeah, there you go, BB and Bart Gunn.
It could be tits and ass.
Intergender champion.
That's what they could be. They could be tits and ass, Mr. Ass, and
only
they already had a
TNA
tag team, didn't they?
Only if they brought back the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
What I loved about this edition of America the Beautiful was they cut over to the wrestlers. And did you see when they panned through to Otis and he's doing the like dance? He's like, did you guys see that? It was great. He was doing this like beefed up muscle dance to America the Beautiful.
If Otis doesn't quit in solidarity with Tucker, I will be very disappointed in our heavy machinery boy.
Yeah. Was Tucker a new release just now, or was he the last?
Tucker was released
just now.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, like, man, that's gotta suck. Your tag team partner is like still doing relatively well, and he is objectively also bad.
Yeah, he should have known the writing was on the wall when it was Otis that got the Money in the Bank. They split them up so fast. Oh my God, you'd have never known they were a tag team.
They're like, and Vince is like, "Oh well, goddamn pal, one of them. Well, the fat one, he makes me laugh."
Tucker's new gimmick was
the other fat one. I have no use for.
Tucker's new gimmick was Bo Dallas.
Bo Dallas also finally released.
Bo Dallas gone too,
it's Bo time, baby.
Yeah. Did you see the whole meme that was out there? It was like they didn't Bo leave, so he had to Bo dash LEAVE leave. That was pretty funny.
Honestly, Bo Dallas is one of the more talented wrestlers there, who they have not used for 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
10 years.
Yeah,
I didn't even know he was still there.
And why did they not spin him into the Bray Wyatt saga? I mean, you have...
They've been just like letting him sit at catering for fucking 10 years, and it's just...
Curtis Axel, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get it. There's only so much TV time, and like.
But why is there only so much TV time if you have a whole network?
Well, they don't have a whole network anymore.
Well, they kind of still do. It's a whole subsection of Peacock.
See, this is I will say, as like business-wise, this is so smart of Vince. He created his own like multi-million, like $100 million streaming network, then sold it to NBC, and now can still like make the profit, still gets to make royalties off of it, but doesn't have to maintain the fucking network and worry
infrastructure
about
at all.
Yeah, any of that infrastructure, and now, so basically he can retire and let his son-in-law run the shit. I mean, he won't obviously. But
So speaking of how gangster like Vince is and how much money WWE has, they have enough monies to do like crazy killer opening packages, right? So I thought that the guy who was doing the voices on the intro sounded like John Cleese, but I can't prove it. I was looking up everywhere to try to figure it out. He sounded just like John Cleese from Monty Python. But I just couldn't figure it out. I don't think it was him.
It'd be funny.
There's two different guys did the audio intro, right? There's two different voices.
I have no idea. I thought it was that English dude the whole time, but it could have been.
No, there's two different voices.
Lord Alfred Hayes.
That other one was the Voices in Your Head song.
Hey, I get those from time to time. I do. Tell me to burn things.
Oh my God! I wouldn't say that while we're recording.
Oh, crap. I forgot we're recording.
So the show starts off first with the very first rain delay in WrestleMania history. I don't know if you guys, I wish you guys could see what I'm seeing. Kyle is carrying around what looks like an Easter basket. I don't know if this is like a throwback to like the Bad Bunny.
Yeah, Bad Bunny dropped off some Easter candy for me.
Nice.
Because I was a good bunny.
Nice. But yeah, the show starts off with a rain delay, which was kind of cool in a way. I don't know, man. It added something to me.
I
guess
it was kind of cool.
So, you know, the thing about it is you could see how irritated the fans were. You know, at times it almost seemed like Michael Cole was nervous that there would be a riot. You know,
that's just Michael Cole. He always seems nervous.
I mean, it was interesting because it was the first time that it ever happened, and it kind of built a little bit of drama. I think WWE did a good job of you know, they do what WWE does, which is turn a real life situation into added heat, or, you know, turn it into the show. It gives them time to interview several people before the show, right? So
yeah, I read.
They pretty much just use their backstage segments up, I think.
No, actually, I've read on 411 Mania that the people that they're doing interviews weren't ready for it at all. They just grabbed people backstage and put them on front of the camera and the mic, and everything was off the cuff at that point.
And I like that.
People have been wanting those. People have been wanting those unscripted promos.
And that's my whole point.
Right, and they adapted really well. So, you know, it was pretty cool. I mean, I really liked the Seth Rollins backstage interview where
he was amazing.
Mispronouncing Cesaro's name, and he really
Cesaro
or Cesaro. Yes, I think Seth Rollins worked pretty well off, you know, just off the top of his head, and then
Bailey.
I think the notes that I had before I deleted all my notes. I think my notes were talking about how Seth Rollins looked like he had hit the drink a little bit before he got interviewed. But I'm glad
he's a father.
That. Oh, then never mind. But I'm glad that Song mentioned that because I thought that added a lot. You know what I'm saying? I thought the fact that the rain delay caused them to have to kind of fly off the cuff and think on their feet is a very good thing. And I think it kind of went to show, like, if you have to throw them up there, they're going to mess up. Like, even Drew McIntyre was stumbling over some of his words, but it came across as passionate. It came across as heated. I thought that the whole, like, backstage Lashley interrupting whoever it was being interviewed. I can't remember now because I don't have the notes again. But yeah, one of them was interviewing somebody, and Lashley interrupts. Then Drew comes in, and Drew's cutting a heated promo.
Shelton Benjamin?
Yeah, no, it wasn't Shelton. It was somebody who had a match at Mania. Maybe, like, I know Shane was like the first person they went to. They went to KO at some point. I think I went through it. Yeah.
KO talking about his feud with Sami Zayn was fantastic.
Right, exactly.
That was a really good
that was great.
All the you know, bingo hall they wrestled in, and that gave a really great history of their rivalry.
Talk about somebody who can see. I hope that encourages fans, and, like, what I'd love to see is, like, WWE kind of reach out and, like, get some of that ROH footage, get some of that, like, old school footage and, like, build. I'm a KO Sami Zayn mark, so I of course was like, okay, well, this was my favorite part, but it was a great promo.
Yeah. And don't forget the New Day promo either in the back. They were all decked out in their red kind of shiny gear. Started off with just Kofi and Xavier. Kofi was sporting a really intricate mohawk.
That mohawk was cool looking.
Yeah. Xavier had the red and the white stripe in the hair. And then Big E came in from the back, which Song was just muscling up and I think making some Big E references. But But yeah, he comes in, and Big E's promo is super, super inspired as well. He's basically talking like a preacher. It's awesome. At one point, they go on to Braun Strowman talking about his interview or his match with Shane O'Mac. Bianca Belair.
For Braun to get a mouthpiece. Somebody can talk for him.
Oh man, they need.
He's so good in the ring, but man, he's just.
Yeah.
Man.
They need to bring back managers. In general.
Yeah, I think we've discussed this in multiple episodes already. The current product is definitely lacking a manager role for people. The only one they have is like Paul Heyman. No.
Yep, that's true. And he can't manage everybody because then they can't fight each other. Yeah. At one point, Poncho Joe comes on, and Poncho Cole, who says Mania begins in 5 minutes. Again, this just made me sad knowing now that Samoa Joe is no longer with the company. So yeah, that's a bummer.
I know. I like Joe on commentary. I know he was hired to be a performer, but he adds something to the Monday Night Raw team. And the guy they're replacing with, I know we talked about it.
Oh God, that Major League Baseball guy.
Yeah, the guy from MLB. Oh my God, he doesn't know the product.
Nah, he was.
What did you say till June? We have a bet going on with this.
I think so. Yeah, did we text it? Because I don't remember what I said.
I think you said June, and I said July, and then if none of us is right, we all owe Kyle a beer.
Okay,
that's right.
He's like, I'm glad I'm in on this. Okay, cool. Yeah, he's not gonna last long. He's like worse than who was
Bartlett.
Bartlett was terrible,
but
also great. Terrible, great.
Yeah, he's none of the talent of Bartlett with none of the charm of Bartlett.
Yeah, exactly. So after all the backstage spontaneous interviews they did, the hosts of Mania, Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan, come out. You can instantly see that it's still.
Were they the hosts though? Because I feel like Bailey was more of a host than Titus, and Bailey did more bits than Titus and Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
You guys looked at Titus' facial expression every time Hogan was near him, though.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, keep this old racist away from me.
Exactly. I thought I was the only one that picked up on that.
I think America was just like, oh wow, Titus really doesn't want to be here, but I guess they were like, come on, Titus, T-Man.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you're gonna be the guy that gets Hogan over.
NWO for life.
Nope. Too sour. Nope.
Oh, actually, that part was brilliant when X-Pac was just like, actually, I'm a really big fan.
Yeah, that was funny. So Hogan finally gets around to announcing the opening matchup after the rain lane delay is over with. And it's the WWE title match between Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. And I thought this was a great choice for an opening match. As they say, you either want to be the last match or you want to be the first match. This was a Haas match to open up the show. And boy, oh boy, I think this match really delivered on a lot of levels for me, dude. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really hard hitting. I thought every clothesline that I saw felt more like a lariat than a clothesline. Especially the closing bit of this whole match, I thought was really cool with the distraction by MVP when McIntyre was about to hit the Claymore. And then, of course, Lashley gets him in the hurt lock. Almost puts him totally out, but then Drew hulks back. Yeah, speaking of Hulk Hogan, he kind of hulks back up, and he throws Lashley over him into the turnbuckle. But lo and behold, no, he actually kicks back and rolls.
He does the Brett spot. He kicks off,
and then but Lashley to our surprise, keeps it locked in really hardcore and. Drew McIntyre fades, and this was one of the matches that I got wrong. But even though I love Drew McIntyre, I'm glad I got it wrong because, in my opinion, if booked right, Bobby Lashley could be a Brock Lesnar level attraction. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Absolutely.
I see Kyle with the shaking his head yes in agreement, but I saw Song raise his eyebrows, which I think was making fun of Lashley because he has none.
For me, this match was like 10 out of 10 on, athleticism, 10 out of 10 on psychology and telling a story in a match. 4 out of 10 in terms of like engagement of like a storyline that feels like important.
Really? Okay.
I just feel like McIntyre hasn't been champ long enough for me to
care whether he continues to be champ.
Correct.
I really do like Drew McIntyre though, and I feel like. Go ahead.
And maybe it's because 2020 was such a lost year,
right?
That it just feels like
he was a paper champion in a way.
It feels very paper champion, and like it shouldn't because of how talented he is.
Yeah, it shouldn't because of how talented he is. It is very difficult for him to, I guess pull, through as being the champ to win in front of nobody and to kind of carry out his whole, title reign without getting the benefit of fans or at least that feeling of gratification. And I think a lot of people, I have a favorite podcast that I watch called Going in Raw. And they said it on their podcast that a lot of people were expecting this to be Drew's moment to go ahead and, have his moment with fans to get his title in front of fans. Yeah. And that was kind of, that really sums up how I felt about it. I was under that impression too, but of course WWE pulled a smart swerve, and hopefully they're going to make a beast of a guy out of this. I think they should let Bobby maybe keep this title for a while. What do you think?
Well, I think
the only thing.
Go ahead, Song.
I just want to add that I like this match that they showed. They had Drew through everything he had at Lashley except for the Claymore. Yeah. He hit 3 Future Shock DDTs.
He sure did. And
he kicked Lashley kicked out of that. So while having Lashley win, they still managed to protect the Claymore as a finisher. So
very good point.
They're selling it to the point where when Drew wins, they're probably going to have one Claymore do it. We've gotten into this trend of just like everybody kicking out of everybody's finisher now, which is annoying. And they went into this match where I think this match, if somebody did kick out of somebody's finisher or like break out of the hurt lock, this match they can do it here, but they protected both guys' finisher in the end. So
they also like to add my Drew.
2 cents in that. They protected Drew.
And that's why I was kind of fine with the match. I didn't really feel, I felt the story was good. The story was to me, sure shot, Drew's coming in, gonna defeat the interim champ, but then it's Bobby Lashley has won the championship, lost his dead weight in the rest of the Hurt Locker, and gone on a rampage and said, I'm not losing this belt now that I've got it after 16 years. And that's kind of the story, is like he was so dead bent on keeping that title that it allowed him to keep that Hurt Lock on and put Drew out. And they, like you said, they also protected Drew by making him pass out instead of actually tap. Right. And I think it's smart booking.
I agree with Kyle. The psychology was there. The athletic, the talent and athletic ability of both competitors were there, but it didn't feel like either guy were able to connect with the live crowd. Did you notice that at all? The crowd was kind of
want to go
a
back.
little bit dead.
Well, is that because of the rain delay, though? The people are still filing in,
Absolutely, it was because of the rain delay.
Yeah, I think people.
But it was a thing. Yeah. Like it's not their fault, but it is a reality of the match.
Yeah, and that took away from the match. That's all I wanted to add.
I guess I want to go back and kind of watch that now. All right, so moving on, we go to the back, and
real quick, I do want to say,
okay,
I think I do think that they will be able to get something possibly magical out of this at the next big
SummerSlam.
pay-per-view, because Drew can do the whole,
Right.
I didn't get my chance to win the belt in front of the crowds.
Maybe he goes back to his roots.
Yeah. He
Travels
gets,
back overseas.
He gets fucking the three-man band back together.
All we need now is a Heath Slater title win. And
we get
that's
Jinder
3 world
Mahal in
titles.
there.
I love that meme that I sent you
Right.
guys.
She's so cracked up to see that the
best
world's greatest champion. Yeah.
The world's best WWE champion ever standing right behind her, and it's Jinder Mahal.
Surprisingly, he's not on the list of people that's fired.
Yeah, he was not released. Not at all released.
That's because he's going to come back and win the Rumble next year.
Nice. I want to see it.
That would be See, I feel like actually now would be a really great time to bring Jinder in and give him a push, because
hey,
he could
he's
put
just
that irony. He could get that irony heat or that irony pop.
or just
People would be
throw the monkey wrench in the world title scene thing where
love it,
exactly where it's like, you thought this was going to be a one-on-one thing. As good as you are, Drew, I did it first.
And Drew's like, "What are you doing, Jinder?"
And Heath Slater as Jinder's manager.
Actually, see, that would be good.
That'd be great. So we
There
go
you
to the
fantasy booking again.
Anybody else have anything to add to the world title match before we move forward? No? All right.
Nope.
So we go to the back. It's Bayley. She's actually, Kyle, you mentioned it earlier, right? Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
How, she played an important role here. We go to the back, and it's Bayley interrupting the NWO and Titus O'Neil, who are talking with one another. She's basically trying to too sweet everybody. Nash gives her the whole, fake hand to the hair slick back.
Yeah.
But then Titus is like, I'm hungry, and they're about to go off. But then X-Pac comes back, and he's like, I'm a big fan. It's so cool. Yeah.
That was really funny.
Cool.
But a good amount of the segment just looked like a bunch of the old men were looking for catering and couldn't find it.
And turns out they were. Because,
exactly. It's just like they were just like, oh, cool, we need to go find catering.
Right. So after the Bayley interrupting the NWO scene, we get the important news that we can go and buy WWE NFTs. Which ones did you guys get? Did you go look at it?
No.
I totally did. What
is an NFT?
Non-fungible
token. It's like the most mysterious thing in the world, but they're fascinating to me. I keep looking into it.
They put like real value on memes.
Yeah,
and they sell memes. I don't know.
Or tweets. Like for instance, Kyle, there was like a famous what do they call it when somebody's a influencer. They had a famous influencer who went to the Fire Festival, the one that was like a big sham. And he, that influencer had tweeted out a picture of, or a tweet with a picture of the styrofoam box with the sandwich that was provided to them for the, catered lunch or whatever. And he sold it as a non-fungible token for like thousands upon thousands of dollars. And there's nothing proprietary that I understand about it. It's just, it's not that anybody else can't go to that tweet and make a copy of the tweet and keep it on their computer. It's just he officially owns it. And so
this is when the podcast turns into like the silver coin trading podcast that we talked about earlier.
And listen,
cryptocurrency and shit.
There is a little bit of a cryptocurrency edge to it. It's definitely about the value you put on something like that.
It feels very, because it feels like it can also be artificially inflated.
I went to the NFT site when Mania was happening because I was just too curious, and they had a dude who had like $100,000 bid on the Undertaker throwing like Mankind off of the cage during the famous pay-per-view. I forget what it was. I think it's a Royal Rumble, right?
Off the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, off the Hell in a Cell.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This sounds so like scammy and not real. It sounds like
it's definitely real. Kings of Leon released their album as an NFT.
I mean, it's real in the sense that like
it's happening.
People are investing their money and time into it.
Nothing.
But it's not real in the sense that like also in the same sense that like how money isn't actually real. It's just it's just numbers on a computer that can change or not change depending on who is in power.
It's the beginning of the devaluing of our dollar.
Well, yeah, like
you starting to sound like Bob Backlund or something.
I'm just saying that like all money is imaginary, and this sounds even more imaginary.
Right. Jesse Ventura comes in.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more of a Jesse Ventura. Oh well, let me tell you, fellas. As the governor of Minnesota, I made sure that they showed me I said, open the doors, and let me see the gold and the aliens.
Yeah. So next is the tag team turmoil match, and the winner gets a shot tomorrow night at the women's tag team champs, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Before I lost all the show notes, I knew the order of entrance. I don't know if you guys took notes. I know it was Naomi and Lana in first.
Naomi and Lana, and they came out in a very beautiful entrance. Then it was Tamina.
Before we go forward,
excuse me. It was Carmella and it was Lana and Naomi, then Carmella and Billie Kay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then it was Tamina and
Natty.
Nope. They were last.
They were last.
It was Maddie.
It was Riot
Rose.
Squad next.
Yeah, it was Riot Squad next, and then it was Mandy Rose and Data Books, and Mandy Rose slipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mandy Rose slipped.
Meme.
Right.
Matthew from Botchamania is gonna be like.
Yeah,
that's
her
NFT right there. There's a new NFT.
Oh, that's gonna be the thumbnail for the Botchamania.
Yeah.
Like 89 or whatever.
Can I point out that during this match, during Lana and Naomi's entrance, that Lana has now completely absorbed Naomi's character, her gimmick. She's like more Lana than Lana.
Well, they're trying to be a real tag team now, you know? They want to be a real tag team, so they have to have matching outfits.
Right.
Well, Lana is, I think, going for the, because, Naomi's that raver, and Lana kind of has that, rave bunny type look to her, that kind of girl who puts, a jewel in the center of her forehead and goes to, Burning Man.
Yeah, we liked her, black light.
That entrance was fire.
Yeah, that black light. Her fishnets were cool.
I love Lana. I think Lana's I love Lana. I love Mero. I think he's a cool ass dude.
Oh yeah.
She's not a very good wrestler, but I think she's entertaining as shit.
She's getting better though.
Trying, man.
She's gotten a lot compared to where she was
really trying.
When I started watching again. She has gotten, and there's another person who I don't want to give props to, but we will get to later on. I will give him props despite the lack of him necessarily needing to be there. Zhuzh, I mean, I really like Tamina and Natalya. I think that they're making Natty look dangerous because she should be. She is the most. I wasn't going to say most talented, but she is the most seasoned of the women's division.
Yeah.
And Tamina is the most safe big woman.
Yeah, because
they should be both. They will. And I love Nia. I think Nia is awesome, but Nia's dangerous. I don't know if it's not Nia doesn't know her own strength sometimes, or I mean, it could be a multiple of things, but Tamina is safer, if not as good on some of the more grandiose spots. But that can be trained. That can be worked with. Natty is incredible. I think if Tamina is sitting under the Natty learning tree, that'd be great.
Dude, I thought of a cool name for that tag team while Mania was on. I was like, because I really like them as a tag team. I was like, they should be the Superfly Foundation.
Oh, that's a great name.
Yeah, exactly.
Foundation.
It mixes
Their
both
heritage.
of their heritage.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's nice.
But yeah, I mean, this whole match was kind of based on the fact that Natty and Tamina came out last. But beforehand, like you said, Naomi and Lana started out against, I think it was, you said, Carmella and Billie Kay. The story was kind of Billie Kay and Carmella doing cheaty little spots to get some pins on folks before they finally got eliminated by, I think, if I remember correctly, it was like a Riot Squad with a with a cool move off the top rope from Ruby Riot, if I remember correctly. But finally, of course, Tamina and Natty come out at the end to get the win. I think it was kind of cool during the end how Natty was about to put the sharpshooter on, but instead she said, "Oh, wait." She tags in Tamina, lets Tamina get that moment, because I think that, Natty's had her moment. Other people have had their moments, but Tamina's never given her moment in the sun. We'll talk about how that is affected later, since they got the win tonight and the match tomorrow against the champs. We'll talk about that later, but I wasn't too happy about that outcome, because I think if you're going to do something, do it all the way, even if they lose the titles the next night. But anyway, that's for night two.
I do think that I will say that I did like, I will agree with you that I did like them giving Natty giving Tamina the moment. I thought that really cements them as a duo.
Right, yeah.
And so I like that. But
I think
otherwise,
we need to get the Superfly Foundation trending somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag Superfly Foundation.
Yes.
Also, I hate saying this, but I actually thought Billie Kay was funny as shit this match.
Billie Kay is great. And why did they fire those guys? Like, they're like a legit tag team for the women's division, and they should have never split them up. Yeah, I did hear a report that, and again, this is a shout out to Going and Raw, that Kevin Dunn just didn't get them or something like that. They just didn't seem to get their humor or whatever. But again,
I don't think that I don't think they're very funny. Bucky Beaver motherfucker. Bucky Beaver motherfucker.
Shout out Jim Cornette. All right, so after the tag team turmoil match, I gotta talk about the funny promo. Did you guys see the Alexa Bliss and Huskus with the SVU jingle? It was a Peacock commercial, because you can get SVU and you can get WWE on the Peacock network now. So it was like Alexa Bliss had Huskus the pig in that dark room with the light shining on Huskus, and she's like trying to get to the bottom of him eating some chocolate or some shit, and you hear like the SVU jingle. It's like so stupid, but it was a pretty good commercial for welcoming the network onto Peacock, I thought.
I would be surprised if Alexa Bliss is not the next person that they're going to try to make famous in the world outside, because she is the best actress they have currently.
And to be honest with you,
actually, Becky Lynch, also very good.
I really love the fact that they seem to really showcase a lot of people, and they're starting to give a broader range of their wrestlers other gigs. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's partner Charlotte with this phone company. Let's partner this person. I think it's really good for them, and it gives them something to do once they get done with their professional career. So I'm glad that WWE is finding these paths for these wrestlers to show off their other talents,
I agree. No, I agree completely.
Agreed.
Right after that promo with Alexa Bliss, we get a funny Old Spice commercial. This one, speaking of which, has a whole slew of wrestlers like R-Truth, Gulak, Tozawa, the Gobbledygooker, and the Hurricane Helmsley. like I said, glad to see these guys getting some extra income, right? I know Gobbledygooker's been on
anytime
hard
the
times.
Hurricane gets a payday, I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
I love the Hurricane.
Hurricane
man.
Helms gets a payday.
The
I'm
smallest
good with
guy
it.
that ever used a choke slam.
What's
made no sense at all.
Well, he's a superhero song, so he has super strength.
That's true. So do we actually think that
Isn't he one of the Hardy's brothers, by the way?
who's
Or
that?
like
Oh,
a
Hurricane.
cousin?
He's related
Yeah.
or something. He's a cousin
Is
or
he?
something. Yeah.
Oh,
I
I didn't
should
know
know this. This is
I don't know.
This is like pretty common like wrestling knowledge that I am just like blanking on right now.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think there's still a Guerrero under the Gobbledygooker costume, or you think it's somebody else by now?
I would love it if Hector's still fucking being forced to wear that. Like, I don't think he works for the company. I think Hector Guerrero works for like, I don't know who he works for, actually, to be completely honest with you.
I bet you the Mountain Goats would know.
Yeah, they would. They
Yeah.
could tell me what division he works for.
Yeah. So the next match is Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, or however Seth Rollins was expertly saying it. I think this match was again awesome. I think you've got two people who are just like top of the whole division. The story told here was the right one to me. Having Cesaro go over at Mania was beautiful, right? I love the whole like back and forth. I thought this match was great. The end of the match, I think it ended up being like Seth Rollins trying to get the curb stomp, but Cesaro pops up with an uppercut that pretty much goes into like the Cesaro swing or whatever it is, and
he gets like
23, I think.
23.
Yeah, 23 rotations. And then he does a neutralizer for the win, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I had so much better notes on this match.
Neutralizer. I don't like the neutralizer as a finishing move, but I really like to see Cesaro getting a main event WrestleMania, or not main event WrestleMania, but like a WrestleMania win, singles win.
Moment.
I'm glad you said that because
he deserves that for so long. He's deserved that for like 10 years. So
they used that in the storyline too, which was great.
Yeah.
They were talking about
It was a great
guy
build.
with the potential, always living on his potential, but never a WrestleMania moment. And then to give it to him at this one when they have the first live crowd in years was fantastic.
And
they really do kill it with those. Like
promos.
I don't know who cuts their promos right now, but like
Or vignettes.
Vignettes. Yeah, vignettes is the right word.
Yeah.
They are just fire. Like they're always just they do 3 months worth of watching in like 5 minutes.
This promo
they make you feel, if you care about wrestling, they make you feel about, like, it feels like you've just watched 5 months of build up.
Right. So the cool thing about this promo, and I'm glad you guys mentioned that because it jogged my memory about what I wrote down, was that the cool thing about it was that it was like almost like a presidential election video paid for by the friends of Seth Rollins, but with no relation to Seth Rollins. You know, it was kind of the whole thing is like, Cesaro has never won a world title. Cesaro has loses the big one, and then at the end it's obviously Seth Rollins paid for thing, but then the story of Cesaro going over here, and that was actually my question to you guys. What do you think is in store for Cesaro? Is this the beginning of an actual push that ends in a world title run, or is this one of those situations where WWE pushes him right to the edge and then just?
Well, I hope this is the catapult for him to get pushed into a world title picture. We've seen it
maybe
a couple
the US
times
title.
with him.
He's like already had it 6
we've
times. Or something.
We've seen them start it with Cesaro before, when that he's the first winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was going to be a stepping stone for him to like get into higher up the card, but that never happened.
But we see where the Andre the Giant Battle Royale is now on SmackDown,
Right.
so we see what a stepping stone that was for the Andre.
I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah,
They made a really. It was
should
a huge,
not bleed into SmackDown.
right. I was going to ask you that later when it actually came up as a replay. I thought that was a very weird thing. It made It made the Andre thing kind of feel not important. I didn't like it either.
No.
But
when they first announced the Andre, I mean, the first one they made, it seemed like such a big deal to win, you know?
Right. Yeah. It just kind of sucks, man, that it went down on SmackDown. But I am glad that Jey Uso won it. You know, he's been kind of relegated to like a support role. Right. He's been, relegated to a support role, albeit a very important support role that's gotten him like super over and, all that. But it was cool to see him get that win. You kind of thought it was going to be Nakamura, right? But then, Yeah. Yep. So after that, we get
just go back to Nakamura. They had 2 nights of WrestleMania and they couldn't find a spot for Nakamura.
Right.
What the fuck? That's all. Okay, I'm done.
A good
That's
point.
off my chest.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because they don't know how to use him because he's not a white person.
Was the does the did the Dirty Dogs thing, that was originally supposed to be a pre-show thing too, right? The whole tag team title match on SmackDown, or was it not?
I think so.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I'm not really feeling the Dirty Dogs, to be honest.
I never really have. It's hard for me to get excited about those two guys as a team when Bobby Roode was doing such great stuff on NXT before they called him up. Yeah. They ruined that boy.
They're just trying to recreate Beer Money.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I wish Beer Money would come to WWE. That would be. That would have been great.
James Storm can move anymore.
Well, I was gonna say I think James Storm is like super duper fat. Bobby Roode and him don't get along.
In NXT. He was in NXT for a couple of matches, but
was he?
Like a couple years ago? Yeah.
I've seen him in Impact, and he is way out of shape.
Oh, really?
And this is more recent, yeah.
So next, Big E comes out, and it's really cool because we get to see Big E announce the New Day, right? And of course, next we get, to me, it was a fun match, booked well. What happened should have happened. So, or what should have happened, I guess is what I'm trying to say. New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos. I really enjoyed Omos's debut because one thing I loved about it was he just genuinely looked like he was having a blast. He looked like he had a smile on his face. He was having fun bouncing around the ring. The story told was awesome. Of course, AJ in first, not allowing Omos to come into the ring, building the suspense of Omos eventually coming in. And actually, New Day were dominating this match, right? Pretty much the whole time, keeping AJ in their corner. And as a matter of fact, it was hilarious because one of the highlights of the match was the shit talking for me by Xavier. I remember Xavier in the ring saying to AJ, "That's right, I'm cutting him off in the middle of the ring. I'm doing classic tag team maneuvers." That was just really awesome, like hearing him just call his spots and everything. But of course, they come to a spot where I think Xavier has AJ over his leg, and Kofi's on the top rope. But then somehow off screen, AJ punches Xavier or something. Xavier rolls out. Oh, no, it's the other way around. Kofi rolls out. Xavier's on the top of the rope.
Yeah.
Yep. And AJ punches Kofi out of the ring. And at that moment, Xavier is on the top and he realizes AJ's about to, he's about to tag in this big guy, So Omos comes in. He's swatting Xavier away. Every move, I think there's like clotheslines.
He is no-selling everything.
Xavier comes up to his waist pretty much, right? So it was just an impressive looking guy, next to Xavier.
I was going to say, honestly, the thing for me is this match really put into perspective how fucking big he is. Like, you see him next to AJ Styles, and you're like, okay, well, AJ Styles is not that tall of a guy. But then you see him next to the New Day, and like, well,
Xavier
Woods is not that big of a guy, but Kofi Kingston's like a normal size dude. He's like 6 foot. He's like normal. He's like a normal sized man. That's right. I'm saying if you're not above 6 feet, you're not a normal size.
No, you're not.
You just alienated a lot of people.
I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. The professor, it's a medical fact. As the professor, I will tell you, you're not a real full-size man. No. Short people are fine. Awesome. I like them.
That's awesome.
But next to the rest of them, like, man, oh man, he looked, and like now that Big Show's gone, they need a new giant. So
yeah.
And this guy so far can move. I mean, we'll see what happens after 5 years, but he can move.
We can't really tell, but the thing I really enjoy about this match was just the facial expression on Woods and Kofi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. Like, the trash talking was hilarious. This match was better than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
You know, with you got the new guy, and they were smart. The booking was smart. Put AJ in first and have him go with Kofi and Woods and do their thing. And then he was even like the little thing like AJ coaching Amos because he's the new guy. You know, do this and do that. It just kind of really sold it for me. And then he told him one foot, pin him with 1 foot, and like Omos is taking directions from the more seasoned wrestler.
Yeah, and let's not gloss over that phenomenal forearm off of Omos.
Yeah, the shoulder,
that
was awesome.
Yeah,
7-3.
I want to go back and watch it again because it's a really cool spot.
He was smiling the whole time.
Oh, well, no, I mean, he's got that kind of Nigerian energy. I mean, he is Nigerian, so he's got that kind of like, like kind of intense smile that's just like, that could be really friendly or like really dangerous.
Or really menacing. It's crazy.
Yeah, super menacing.
I wouldn't mess with that dude.
I really enjoy Amos.
Yeah.
Amos, what is it?
Yeah. Amos, I think. Amos, maybe.
Amos.
It's a hard one to say, but I think it's Amos.
I hope they don't join him with. I hope they don't join him with the new Nigerian Apollo Crews all of a sudden.
So yeah, dude, I totally agree with you, Song. This match was way fun. It was just fun because you got a consummate professional, tons of consummate professionals, three consummate professionals, who probably coached Amos, helped him out a lot, but Amos did exactly what he needed to do, which was look like a monster beast, and putting that foot on him, just like you said, Song, at the end was like so disrespectful and get some heat on Amos. I think there's big things in store for him if they handle him right, but that's the question.
I hope so. They need a good big man. They need a good big man.
AJ.
Yes. They need a monster.
Keep him with AJ. I like it. Oh, I gotta ask this. Did you like his ring garb or anything?
No.
Didn't like that?
The business attire? No.
He just What'd you think, Kyle? Did he need a different kind of outfit?
Some real ring gear, right?
Well, I think the issue is that he probably doesn't have the definition that Top Brass really, really want.
And we don't want a giant Gonzalez situation.
Well, I mean, remember Big Cass? Big Cass?
Yeah.
Not a lot of definition on Big Cass. You can't teach that. Can't teach that. It's something you got to train. You got to train it. And so I think that the business attire, he's a big dude. He's got big, broad shoulders. So the business attire gives him that cut look without having to. He's got time, and I'm sure he will be putting in the work. Maybe juicing a little bit. Who knows? I mean, I as long as it's done healthily, the professor is perfectly fine with a little bit of juice and moderation. The gimmick that they're trying to do, which is like this kind of personal protection,
he's like a one-man APA.
it works, but eventually I agree with Song, they are going to have to get him some real ring attire.
Okay, yeah. As long as they don't give him the ring attire that Giant Gonzalez had, because
God,
you were speaking to the whole definition thing, and I hope they don't try to airbrush it on him.
You're going to give him an airbrush suit with a fur breech.
While we are at it, I noticed you don't have all the hair in the right spots that Vince likes. So next we get an early look at WWE 2K22. Is this something that excites you guys at all? Is this something that is on your radar?
I haven't played video games in a while.
I'll probably buy it because I always buy them because I'm an idiot. But like, they are fun.
I love them, man. I mean,
if not glitchy as hell.
I have 2K20, and I still, well, I don't play much anymore of anything because I don't have time. But I still would play it if I had time, and will play it again. I won't get rid of it until I beat it. Even that one, man, I was like terribly ill received, so bad, so much so that they skipped 21 to do 22. So I have some hope that they won't drop the ball on 2K22. They're going to be trying to put their best foot forward. So for that reason, I'm excited for it. I mean, the gameplay, of course, it was like Rey Mysterio. You kind of saw him with his mask, and then you see him as a, graphic user interface or whatever. You see his actual like, I guess it's what is it considered, in ring or in play or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you see that, and it's pretty decent looking. I'm excited for it. After that, we're going to get Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. And so, first of all, question I want to ask you guys about this match. The lead up to this match, the feud. Is this something that excites you, like to see? Absolutely
not.
Okay,
not one bit.
Because what killed it for me was the green slime. The green slime. It was already like kind of stupid, but
don't call me stupid.
Yeah, right.
Like okay, oh, that's fine. I get it.
But then you brought Play-Doh
some people don't
into
like
it, or green slime. I don't know. Now that doesn't speak of the match. The match ended up being, to me, fun. The match was fun, but the feud leading up to the match was just really ill-conceived.
I just don't know why they have to bring Shane McMahon in every single WrestleMania for a spot. I'm tired of watching them.
Because he's the boss's kid, I think he can come in when he wants to, and they still think it pops the audience. I just don't understand that if they were going to make.
No?
I think a little bit, yeah.
No.
I think that they could have made this match better if Shane had just come out and said, "I want a match with you at WrestleMania because you're the current Giant, and I'm the kind of guy that likes to do it big on Mania, and what's bigger than facing Braun Strowman at Mania in like a, last man standing match, or like, anything like that, where he just came out and said, I want to wrestle you because I'm Vince McMahon, right? Or not Vince McMahon, but Shane McMahon,
I don't think that Shane should be wrestling.
I agree with Kyle.
Personal preference. Yeah. He's not a wrestler. He's heir to the company.
Right.
Stop wrestling.
Well, I mean, I thought there was.
That match. It was good. Like the moment where Braun rips the cage apart, and pulls him back in. Awesome. Super cool.
Right.
But like the coast to coast, we've seen it once. We've seen it a million times, and now people are kicking out of it.
Right.
So
it's become a one.
So it's not. It's. Yeah, he does the punch things, and then I don't know. I don't like Shane.
One thing about that that I'll mention about your whole he does a whole dance and the punch thing. One criticism that I have of the match is you shouldn't let him have that much offense against somebody like Braun Strowman. If you want him to be taken,
Braun Strowman should have destroyed him.
Right.
and he beat him up, but he should have, from
was
the beginning of the bell to the end when Braun decides to let him go, he should have beat him around the ring.
Right.
That
There was a
would have been
lot of
good match.
offense
That would have
by
interesting.
a lot of offense by Shane in this match, and I don't think that was the right way to go.
No.
But yeah, the end of this match, like you said, saw a very back and forth match where Shane ends up almost totally out of the ring, but he makes the idiotic mistake of sticking his hand back through the cage, only to get grabbed by Braun. Braun peels the cage open like a sardine can, pulls Shane back in, right, and basically says this is for everybody who's ever been bullied, drops him with a power slam and gets the pin, right? Nobody's excited about this match or wants to talk about it. My co-hosts have gone silent.
It
It's
just makes
such
no
a
sense.
boring, does anybody think that Braun Strowman has been bullied in recent years enough?
Right.
I'm sure in high
Exactly.
school or before he was there, but look
Why-
at him
why-
now.
Why is
What
the
are they
small
gonna
guy
bully him
bullying
on?
why is the small guy bullying the monster? That makes no the storyline.
I mean, I get it. Words hurt.
So
Words
stupid.
absolutely hurt. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed very Nickelodeon.
Well,
Yeah.
do you think it maybe was so in the future they could highlight their be a bully, be a star thing and say, we even had a Mania match?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Probably.
Because as Stephanie McMahon says, philanthropy is the whatever
Of the whatever.
it's of the whatever. It's the of the future. Philanthropy is the promotions of the future. Something like kind of evil. I forget what it was. It was basically the idea that philanthropy is actually the how you make money in the future. It's how you promote shit in the future. They're all scum, but they make an interesting product.
This is true. Next, we see a really good view of this year's Mania set. The fireworks display was really cool. The pirate theme accented by the pirate ship with the ship with the sails. That was awesome. Didn't it have video screens on the sails or something like that? Even it was it's a pretty incredible set.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think the pirate ship was already there since they're playing in the Buccaneers Stadium.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I know nothing about any other sport, and I just showed my total obliviousness to that.
Yeah,
Isn't the
I think
Marlins?
that's
Don't the Marlins have a crazy baseball stadium that was on a show as well? It has an aquarium out in the outfield or something that the aquarium guys put in there.
the MLB team.
I think so. Yeah.
Jacksonville has a swimming pool. I know that.
Oh, crazy.
Do
Then
they
there's-
really?
Yeah, where fans can swim while watching the Jacksonville Jaguar plays because they
That
can't
sounds
get anybody else.
amazing.
Well, they can't get anybody to go to a Jazz game, so they have to put a pool in.
Aw.
So next up, the announcers, Byron, Samoa Joe, and Michael Cole. They're interrupted by Bailey, who cuts to the Hall of Fame promo. Then Dallas is announced for WrestleMania at the AT&T Stadium in Texas next year. Is this the right time for a Stone Cold return?
Has to be.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to
Yeah.
be.
Do you think
Because
it will?
because they've been promoting the shit out of his podcast.
But do you think it'll be an in-ring return and everything?
Oof.
Or just
I
in
don't
some
think-
managerial capacity?
I've heard physically he has said multiple times
I could do it.
that that he could do it, but that he is not looking to do it. So I don't know.
I'm
I think
sure
it-
if they put enough zero at the end of his check, they'll do it.
Man, do you realize that would be the biggest show of all time if that happened? An in-ring
I mean,
return.
it would pop me. I would love to see that.
Everybody
Stone
would
Cold
watch
was
that.
a huge, reason I watched wrestling in the early '90s
If you're listening,
or
Stone
the
Cold.
mid '90s.
Now, if he does come back, do you want it to be a surprise, or do you want them to have a program leading up to a match?
I don't think
at
they would do
Mania?
it without a program, so that way they could just get total, positive press for it.
Right.
I think it would be Stone Cold.
So it's
versus
not like
McMahon.
somebody. Gotcha.
No,
so it's not gonna be like we have a secret or like a secret tag team partner or something like that, and out walks Stone Cold.
I know what would make you happy. Stone Cold versus Shane McMahon.
I was just thinking Shane and Stone Cold is the match they're probably going to push.
That'll close the show out too.
Oh my God,
That'll
y'all would
go out.
love it. I don't want to be. I'm gonna
See, Dad, I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy, Dad. See, love me, Father, love me.
Hey, if we just predicted next year Mania's main event, we should be giving some kudos and some
Pin it, yeah. Put a pin in that,
Put a pin in
pinheads.
that one. Yes. So next up is a really crazy scene. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on at first. Tons of bunny rabbits hop out into the ring, and they leave their wet little bunny footprints on the mat. The first thing that I thought of was, is Adam Rose returning? Do you remember that guy?
Yeah, with the rosebud.
Yeah, exactly.
Which Braun Strowman was a rosebud?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alexa
so
Bliss
was Alexa Bliss and Carmella, I believe.
Yeah. And for me, we have a please nobody else walk into the room moment when the Miz and Morrison karaoke style sing their recent song they created to mock Bad Bunny. This is the most terrible piece of junk entrance I've ever seen. You're gonna love it, aren't you, Kyle? Kyle loves it.
Sorry, we said Alexa, and now my actual the Alexa in the background is like the thing about Carmella is blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, shut up.
Come to find out, we have a new host, Alexa.
Oh, don't stop doing it. Stop it.
I'm sorry. Damn it.
No, you're fine.
All right. Damian Priest comes out.
What were we talking about?
We talked about.
You lost me at Rosebuds.
Yeah, we talked about that. That the bunnies come out, and then Miz and Morrison come out. Damian Priest comes out first. He's sporting a really cool purple attire. That's shout out to Shawn Michaels with the vest and everything. So that was pretty cool. Bad Bunny has an entrance, right? From what I've heard through various sources, it's a throwback to a video game. Do you guys know anything about that?
Is it like a Streets of Rage thing? Or?
No, I think it's an old.
Is it like an old
video,
like
WWE game.
SmackDown game entrance or something?
Yeah,
because he's like kneeling on a truck as it drives in. I've seen it somewhere, but I can't remember like where. So it's one of those.
Yeah, Bad Bunny came out on top of an 18-wheeler, and from what I understand, that is a nod to a video game back in the day. It's not one that I've played. I bet you our pal Sawyer might know this, because Sawyer, I know, is coming in hot with.
He was a big video game player too.
Too bad he lost.
Too bad he's banished from the pod.
Now we've replaced him with Alexa.
God damn it.
All right, here we go. Bad Bunny versus Miz and Morrison. All right,
great match. Surprisingly great match, actually.
Really,
it was.
I thought that the amount of work that Bad Bunny very clearly. I'm not going to call him Bad Bunny. What's his real name?
I don't know.
I'm gonna. Oh God.
I am absolutely going to call him Bad Bunny. His
talk
name
about
is Bad Bunny.
What if his name is really Bad Bunny? His real name is Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. He's like Bugs.
I'm not going to call another man a bunny.
He's like Bugs' cousin. He's related to Bugs.
Benito Bunny.
Bugs Bunny.
Bad Benito. No, Bad Bunny.
Okay. This match was
Bad
awesome,
Bunny
right?
is. I am
props.
very surprised at the amount of work he put in, and like. He did a drop toe hold. He did
destroyer.
His punches looked good. He did what's that leg scissors thing? Oh yeah, the Canadian destroyer on the outside of the ring.
The Canadian
John
destroyer,
Morrison.
yeah.
I mean that was John Morrison. Let's be real about it. It was John Morrison, but like he's still. You need a good partner to do it still, and he the leg scissor spinny thing, like in general, like also another guy who I hated his ring attire because it's very clear that his physique is not necessarily where it needs to be, but still very.
I mean, you know what? I I hate like when other like celebrities from other parts of the entertainment industry comes into wrestling. But given what Pat McAfee done in NXT and then Bad Bunny here, I mean, I don't mind seeing it when they come in and they're willing to work, and both guys put in the work. I'm with you, Kyle. I thought this match was going to be a shit show. Was the best word I can use to describe it. But I ended up I thoroughly enjoyed it. He put in the work, and the only grief I have about it is him getting the pin instead of Priest for his team.
That makes sense. If he's going to continue with a wrestling career in any like minor or major way, then it won't. It's not going to be surprising that he got the.
Remember what I texted you guys? I said, are they really going to give Bad Bunny a pin against former world champion Miz? Mm-hmm. And if so, is that the right thing to do for the business? We were texting back and forth. I was like, there's got to be some like,
Yeah, I thought Priest should have gotten the pin over on Miz. Or if Bad Bunny take the pin, it should have been on Morrison instead of the Miz. The Miz is like a 2-time WWE champion.
Yeah.
But then again, WCW put their world title on
David Arquette.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? So the more I read about Bad Bunny, the more I'm super into Bad Bunny. Apparently, he's a big supporter of the LGBT rights.
Yes. Right.
And like a big supporter of like trans folks. So, fuck yeah, good for him. You know what? Bad Bunny, I'm coming around. The professor's coming around on you, Bad Bunny.
Hey, listen.
Maybe you'll be a good bunny.
Yeah, man. Listen, call him Bad Bunny because that's what he says to be called.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? He did a good thing. I don't know if you guys saw the SmackDown promo that he did, but it was impassioned. It wasn't perfect and it wasn't like aggressive like a wrestler would have had it, but he talked in that whole like kind of quiet tone, like, you know what? I come over here to WWE Universe. I've been watching you guys since I was a kid. And I respect you, and I even respect and love the Miz, but then Miz, he ruined my Bugatti. I'm gonna get you, like that. I mean, it was an impassioned promo followed by a performance in which he went toe to toe with another set of professional wrestlers, held his own, did moves like the Canadian Destroyer, jumping off the top rope. Drop toe holds, all of that. I mean, dude, probably the best performance by him and Pat McAfee. I agree with you.
A non-wrestler wrestler.
Right, exactly. And I think it was a really great effort on his behalf. And, it gets eyes on the product. I think the reason that Bad Bunny is attractive to WWE is because of the amount of followers he has. And the amount of influencers he's an influencer
it's also,
as well.
The Latin American audience is a
huge
massive,
audience,
huge, and I believe he's Puerto Rican,
right? Yes? Puerto Rican, yeah.
Yeah,
that's not something the WWE has tapped in yet.
Well, but I mean the Puerto Rican territories. Puerto Rico has a
rich history.
Long history.
The youngster Carlos Colon.
Yeah, that is still the greatest Gorilla Monsoon call ever is like, this youngster Carlos Colon. Oh God, so I mean, it makes sense. I think that he's great.
Yeah.
And I am surprised to say this. I really enjoyed this match.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was a really great match.
I mean, obviously, I'm a firm believer in you're only as good as your opponent.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Everybody and their opponents are incredible. Like Miz and Morrison are
heels.
I would say the hardest workers in WWE currently. My personal
I'll agree.
preference.
I'll agree with that. And you know, a lot of people really hated the Miz's original WWE title run, right? I was a fan of it, dude. I thought I was like, cool, give it to, you know, it's okay for us to have a heel champ for a while. You know what I'm saying? And he was a, you know, sneaky, smart. Are you threatening me? No, I'm just kidding. Yes. If you could see what I'm seeing right now, Kyle's got a giant knife out. he's like aiming it at the camera. He looks like Benicio del Toro carving a Z into Johnny Depp's forehead. But
I've got lots of little knife toys.
So anyway, props to Bad Bunnies, right, guys?
Yeah, right on, Bad Bunny.
Yes, Mr. Bunny.
Mr. Bunny.
So next up is our main event of the night, right? We have WWE. Yeah. WWE SmackDown Women's Title match. Bianca Belair facing consummate veteran and professional and innovator of women's wrestling, Sasha Banks. Man, awesome match, right? It was emotional from the start. You saw the emotion on Bianca Belair rather right out of the gate.
Banks too. I mean, Banks tried to hide it, but she was trying to keep her scowl, but the smirk was breaking through.
I was going to say you could tell she was just so freaking proud.
And these outfits that the girls had on this time around too. You got to take a moment to speak to Bianca Belair, which I might be wrong about this, so don't quote me on it, but I think she, at least at one point, did her own ring attire. And then you've got Sasha Banks. You know, she had that cool, like, purplish blue and lime green attire on. And it only helped to highlight an amazing match. Like, this match was all about the power of Bianca Belair versus the cunning, the
ingenuity,
and eventually the savagery of Sasha Banks when she gets angry too. I mean, she had some moments there where she lost her cool outside of the ring, but I want to point out that I really love the way that Bianca Belair had some really powerful moments where she like would hoist Sasha up, walk her up the ring stair, and toss her back in. Just so
beastie, man. Like, she is so good. Like,
both
women are in incredible physical shape. Like, both women are like paragons of physical fitness. They both look just I mean, if like Wonder Woman's Amazonian Themyscira like women existed, those two would be like their chief trainers. They are incredible.
That sequence where Banks jumped through the middle rope onto Bianca outside, and Bianca rolled over, picked her up, and then just pressed her and walked her step by step to throw her back into the ring. I mean, that takes so much strength to do.
Yeah.
The match, it told a great story. Like you were saying, it's like the strength of Bianca versus just the savagery of Sasha Banks, and every move.
Yeah, and they just everything they did was stiff. They worked like they were trying to show off. And you know, this is one of those things where I'm really ashamed that all of my notes are gone, because I had it all like kind of the highlights mapped out to go over. But just, I mean, in a nutshell, just an amazing match that at the end saw Sasha Banks and Belair back and forth until finally Belair's power kind of took the best of her. She finally hit her finisher after I did want to go over the fact. Go ahead. Yeah, the hair whip.
She hit the hair whip. My God.
Right.
That left a welt. Did you see it?
Dude, that match was probably, other than the first match, the stiffest match we've seen all night.
Yeah.
So I actually did write that down, and I meant to bring it up. One of the narratives in this match was the hair, right? Throughout the match, Banks used Belair's hair in very cunning ways against her, and during the end of the match, she actually had the Banks statement on, wrapping Bianca's hair around her and pulling it. So it's only like poetic justice that it was the hair whip that cracked I mean, and that sound too, the sound of that hair whip was
just that crack, was that put in, or is that
I don't
the
know.
actual sound of hair? I mean, meat flesh.
I don't know. I mean, WWE
I mean,
wants us to
rip
believe
of
it was hair. Yeah, it looked like burn, right? It would look like you know how a lasso damages you because it actually is cracking at like the speed of sound or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a whip.
Yeah, exactly, like a whip. And so, yeah, I think it could have been real, but if not, then good on WWE for their adding sound at the right spot, right?
I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah. This was a great match, and we can't point out the significance, and I'm really happy to know that women continue to other women in the division continue to make history on Mania as the years go by. A couple years back, it was, the first triple threat main event by women, but this was the first 1-versus-1 Mania main eventer, and that's very relevant. The girls,
black women at that, man.
Yeah, black women at that. That's very critical, very important to mention. I just want to mention overall the presence of that with Bobby Lashley retaining the championship. I'm high on WWE for letting that happen.
A lot of folks of color winning tonight.
Exactly. This is good representation. It's great stuff, and it's important. So we love night one. At least I did. My question to you, of course, is, man, in a nutshell, what'd y'all think? I mean, anything else to add?
Go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say, like, I enjoyed most of the matches on night one. My favorite was the main event with Sasha and Bianca, and I would just go ahead and add my least favorite was Shane and Braun.
I would say I would give it a solid C+ for me. I really enjoyed the Bad Bunny match, surprisingly, and wanted to really enjoy the opening match, and I did enjoy it in the terms of like watching. I would almost call like the first match, it's like watching a ballet that I don't know the story of. I can appreciate I can appreciate the beauty of the artistry, and I can appreciate how talented and physically fit both performers are. And I can appreciate it in the terms of a performance, but I just didn't have the connection for me that I was looking for. Gotcha. But overall, better than average. I would say this is definitely on the top end of WrestleManias, maybe on the lower end of the top end, but definitely a win. I think it's not their fault, but the rain delay really killed a lot of energy that the crowd could have had, and that affected, for me, the performances. So, cool. For me, I thought the rain delay added to it. It kind of created some chaos in the beginning that I thought added to the excitement. And the match, I would say my favorite matches were the first and the last, bookended on each other. I felt like I did understand the story of the first match. It's the guy who's destined to win the title back at the opening show in Mania, getting put the brakes on. Here's this guy Bobby Lashley who's come into the picture just not out of nowhere, but compared to how they were booking Lashley even 6 months ago, has kind of come out of nowhere, and now he's a force, and now he's got the potential to be a Brock Lesnar level person for the rest of the year. And I think there's a bigger story to tell with Drew, like you said, come around, like you said, Kyle, come around like SummerSlam, I think would be a good payoff, where maybe, then Drew goes over. But to me, this opening episode was great because we get to see the summer of Bobby Lashley potentially.
As always, thank you so much for listening. Now we want to hear from you. You can hit us up at pinthechamppodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at PinTheChamp123, and our Google Voice number is 804-446-1139. We can't wait to hear from you.